Changeling is a mystery drama directed by Clint Eastwood starring Angelina Jolie in one of her finest roles as a mother in 1920s America whose son disappears one day with no trace, and the police happen to find her son and return him to his mother only for her to claim that it isn't her son. Changeling really took me by surprise because I was so sure I had the film worked out at around 20 minutes in. Jolie would continue to claim the boy wasn't hers, the police would stubbornly refuse, and she'd fight her case, and after many verbal beatdowns and shouting matches she'd expose this new boy as an imposter and finally be reunited with her son. But the film is nowhere near as vanilla and straightforward as this. Like a python it writhes in this direction and then in that, dragging you along the way. Occasionally you get hit with an emotional rock, again which was a surprise to me, what with this being directed by Eastwood. There's a lot of his earlier films that were great, but his more recent output can be pretty dull and sappy. However, Changeling was made in the mid-2000s when he hit his best form as a director, pulling out films like Letters from Iwo Jima, Gran Torino and $1 Million Baby. And like the last film mentioned, Changeling goes in places you had no idea would even consider stepping into. Maybe it's because I was watching with my mum, who tends to get a bit teary at sad films, but I was really moved by the film. It is genuinely upsetting what happened in this apparently true story and acts as an expose of corrupt authority and an ear-punching reminder that sometimes sticking to your principles, making an effort and telling the truth even when the whole world's against you can get you far. And it does so in a way that avoids falling into what I call the sap trap, which is what a lot of Clint's recent films like American Sniper are currently festering in. As the unpredictable script and terrific acting from all provide enough emotional weight to drive the film, Eastwood's picture is aware it doesn't need to go overboard with the melancholy keyboard solos to pull at your sense of sentiment. The film simply achieves this through its story and acting, especially from the lead. That's not to say Clint takes a back seat. His maturity as a director really is showcased, knowing just how long to hold a specific shot, where to shoot a scene from and which character to focus on in a frame. I won't mention specific examples because it would give away key scenes, but his ability to bleed feeling into a world as cold as 1920s California whilst being restrained enough that it doesn't take you out of the film is a commendable achievement. Which brings me to one of the film's best aspects, something you don't often notice unless a movie is doing it wrong. Its perfect representation of the time period, whether it be through the clothes, houses, or perfectly rendered digital background buildings. Some period pieces make the mistake of drawing your attention to the period, but once the movie makes the transition from black and white in the opening 5 seconds or so, you lose yourself in this world of political corruption, mistreatment of patients of mental health, and the vulnerability and innocence of children because it feels so real. One problem people may find is in the film's pacing. Often it can be difficult just to know where you are in terms of the film's narrative, what with it seemingly coming to a close, only for another plot line to manifest and take center stage. There's nothing wrong with it, and with true stories it's something that's quite common, but it may be a little off-putting for those used to a standard Act 1, Act 2 and climax plot structure. Overall, Changeling is a great story, brilliantly told, ticking off all the usual boxes like acting, production values, script, etc. But in this case, all of those elements are garnished on top of the film's core element, that of genuine human emotion, not melodrama, but real feelings of pain, loss, grief, and at the very end of it all, a hint of hope. Changeling gets an 8.5 out of 10 from me.